Hi, my name's Minnie, and today I'm going to tell you a story about somebody called Maui. Now, you might have heard of Maui before, and there are a couple of things that you need to know about him before we can get started. Firstly, Maui is a demigod. He's very powerful, and by the time our story begins, he has already done some pretty amazing things. Maui fished up the North Island of New Zealand from the sea. Maui captured the sun in the sky and made him slow down so that we could all enjoy longer days. And Maui also invented the coconut. It's very important. But Maui was also mischievous. He had that little voice in the back of his head, you know the one that sits there and goes, "What if?" And so one night Maui is sitting in his village next to the fire. And he's just had a really delicious dinner of fish and vegetables. And he's looking into the flames. And that little voice in the back of his head starts talking to him. What if? What if the fire went out? Because we've just sort of had fire as long as we can remember, but where does it come from? And so that night, Maui waited until everybody had gone to sleep. And he crept up out of bed to the fire. He looked over his shoulders to make sure that no one was watching, and he picked up a bucket of water and he put out the fire. And then he went to all the other villages nearby and he put out all their fires too. And then Maui went back to bed, but he was so excited. He could hardly sleep. He couldn't wait to see what would happen. And in the morning, everybody woke up and they saw that the fire had gone out and they all started to panic. Oh no, the fire seems to have gone out. What are we going to do? How are we going to cook our food? How are we going to see how are we going to scare away all the animals that are coming? Oh, this is a disaster. And then it's going to get really cold in the winter and we'll get rid. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? But Maui's mother was one of the elders of the tribe. And she said, "It's all right, calm down, everybody, calm down, it's fine. What we'll have to do is we will have to send somebody to the great fire goddess, Mahuika, and ask her for some fire." Now, Mahuika was pretty terrifying because she was completely made of fire. Her hands and fingers were made of fire. Her hair was made of fire. Her eyes were made of fire. And if she spoke, she breathed out hot tongues of flame. She was terrifying. And she had a real temper. And so none of the villagers really wanted to go and ask her for favours. I'm not going to go. You should go. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go and see Mahuika. You should go. You'll be great, Derek. No, I'm not going to go. No. But somebody at the back of the village put up their hand. It was Maui, of course. He said, "Don't worry, I'll go, because it's me, Maui. I'll be fine. I'm the fisher of islands. I'm the captor of the sun. I'm the inventor of the coconut. Yeah, I'll be fine." But more importantly, guys, Mahuika, she's my grandmother, so she's not going to hurt me. I'll be fine. And Maui's mother said, "All right, Maui, you go, but I know what you're like. You like to get up to mischief. But Mahuika may be your grandmother, but she has still got a fierce temper. She does not like to be tricked." And Maui said, yeah, of course, I'll be fine. And off he goes. Maui walked out of the village to the wide, rushing river, and he followed the wide, rushing, sparkling river past the forests to the mountains. And the mountains were tall and craggly and full of caves. And Maui walked up and down the mountain trying to figure out which cave belonged to Mahuika. And it wasn't long before he passed a cave that was hot. He could feel it even from the outside. And when he looked inside, he could see a tiny little glimmer of flame like an ember in the distance. And he knew that this must be the cave of Mahuika. So off he went. He walked into the cave and he got deeper and deeper in, and he got hotter and hotter. The heat was incredible. He had to take his jacket off so that he not sweat so much, and it got brighter and brighter and lighter and lighter and hotter until eventually he came to the middle of the cave, to a great opening, a great big chasm, and there, in the middle of the cave, was Mahawika, the fire goddess, with her fiery hands, her fiery hair, and her fiery eyes. And she saw Maui came in, and she said, "Who are you?" I'm Maui." "Maui who?" Oh, you know me. I fished up the North Island from the sea, that Maui." "Maui who?" "Oh, I captured the sun in the sky and I made him slow down." "Maui who?" I invented the coconut." "Maui who?" "I'm your grandson. Please don't hurt me." "Ah, grandson Maui. What are you doing in my cave?" Well, Mahawika, Gran, can I call you Gran? Lovely. So here's the thing, right? We don't know how, so it's a big old mystery. But all the fires have gone out, so we were hoping that we could have some of your fire. Now, Mahawika did not often get visitors, and Maui was, after all, her grandson, and so she thought about it. But she said, "All right, for you, Maui, you may have one finger of fire." And Maui took the finger of fire. He said, thank you very much." And off he went out of the cave. But while he was walking through the cave, that little voice started talking again. What if Mahawika didn't have any fire? Where would she get it from? And by the time he reached the mouth of the cave, Maui's mind was made up. And he checked to make sure that no one was looking. And he blew out the finger of fire. "Oh, Mahawika, I'm really sorry. I was looking after your finger of fire, but I got to the mouth of the cave and this big gust of wind came along and blew it out. I'm really sorry. Could I have another finger of fire?" "Oh, very well, Maui. Just for you, another finger of fire. But you will look after it this time, won't you?" Yeah, I will, I promise." Maui took the finger of fire outside of the cave. He checked to make sure no one was looking. He picked up a handful of dirt and he put out the finger of fire. "Oh, Mahawika! Look after it this time, Maui." "Oh, honestly, Gran, I will. Got to the mouth of the cave, looked around, made sure no one was watching, found a puddle of water on the floor. He put out the finger of fire. "Oh, Mahawika! Took the finger of fire, made sure no one was watching, and shook it in the air so that the air put it out. "Oh, Mahawika, you wouldn't believe it. I swear, I was looking after that finger of fire so carefully that out of nowhere, this giant chicken came along, and it saw the finger of fire, just ran off with it. Could I have another finger of fire?" Now, Mahawika, at this point, realised that she was being tricked, because she, like you, knows that there is no such thing as a giant chicken. And once she realised that she was being tricked, Mahawika became very, very angry. She roared with rage. Her eyes burned with flame. Her tongue burned with fingers of fire. She took the very last flame from her hand, the very last finger. She raised it high above her head and she threw it straight at Maui's hair, hoping to catch it on fire. Maui ducked just in time, picked up the finger of fire and hid it under his jacket so that she wouldn't know he'd taken it. And then he thought that now would probably be a really good time to get the hell out of the cave. So he started running. He ran as fast as his little legs would carry him. He could hear Mahawika screaming and shouting behind him. He could feel the heat from her breath on the back of his neck. He ran and ran. He was running so fast that when he reached the mouth of the cave, he tumbled down the craggly mountain and into the rushing waters below. Now, Mahawika, being made of fire, didn't really fancy a dip in the river, and so she was still angry. She was still screaming and shaking her fists, but she stayed up in the cave. But Maui, you will remember, was still holding that finger of fire. It had now fallen somewhere into the river, and it was so hot that it was causing the waters of the river to bubble and boil. Now the river was very wide and very deep, and Maui realised that there was no way he'd be able to swim to the edge before he was burned alive. And so he called upon the great god of storms, the god of thunder and lightning and rain, and said, "Oh, please, please, will you send a storm, send some rain, send some thunder to cool these waters so that I will not be burned alive?" And fortunately for Maui, he had not yet annoyed the god of storms, and so indeed, thunder, lightning, and most importantly, cool rain, which landed in the river and made it calm. And Maui was able to swim to the shore, coughing and spluttering, and safe. But Maui noticed that tiny little ember, all that was left of the last finger of fire, had bounced out of the river and into a pile of dry branches at the edge of the forest. And that little voice in the back of his head started talking again. What if? So Maui collected some of the dry branches and he took them back to the village. And the villagers saw him come back and they were confused. "Maui, you were supposed to bring us some fire. Oh, what are we going to do now?" But Maui said, "Wait, watch." And he took 2 of those branches and he rubbed them together, slowly at first, but then a bit faster, and a bit faster, and a bit faster, until heat, and after heat, smoke, and after smoke, fire. And from that day to this, Maui is known as the Fisher of Islands, the Captor of the Sun, inventor of the coconut, and bringer of fire.